Would this make you want to go watch the movie when she's starring in it and she's the main character? Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
With this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself.
Rows of plush red velvet sit untouched beneath the dusty chandeliers of London's legendary Palladium. Long after the ushers have gone home, a single ghost light flickers center stage, casting thin golden bars across seat after unclaimed seat. That glow is more than a safety lamp. It's a silent scoreboard. And tonight the score is brutal. Rachel Zegler, 0. Empty aisles, hundreds. The revival of Evita was pitched as her grand comeback.
Hi, I'm Rachel Zegler, and here we are at the Evita meet and greet.
First day is always nerve-wracking, but this is a really exciting show.
I had first day jitters. It's terrifying and wonderful. I'm so excited.
Everyone has this thrilling excitement.
First day of Evita, let's go.
It's a bucket list moment.
Like, it feels a bit surreal, but like, I'm super excited.
I've loved this show since I was so young.
A chance to belt Don't Cry for Me Argentina and rewrite the narrative. Yet with opening night ticking closer, ticket maps look greener than the London grass. Whole balconies sit on digital clearance racks, and rumors swirl that a much-boasted £4 million presale never reached the box office at all. But how did the ingénue, once hailed as Spielberg's newest discovery, tumble from Oscar chatter to playing Eva Perón for Ghosts? The answer begins with a poisoned apple and a prince she called a stalker.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Just 14 months ago, Disney unveiled its glossy reimagining of Snow White, a $270 million gamble dripping in CGI dwarves and earnest press slogans. Executives expected at least $1 billion in global returns. Reality was harsher. The film crawled to $145 million worldwide, then flatlined. Analysts now peg the loss north of $115 million, making it the worst live-action princess debut in Disney history.
So let me give you some quick numbers. 43 million is what it took in the United States, okay? That's the second worst premiere of a Disney live-action movie ever.
What was the other one? What was worse than that?
It was only beat, I think it was beat by the Lion King prequel, Mufasa.
Oh my gosh.
I think so.
Yeah, I wasn't really interested in that.
Yeah, so
That
it
should
hasn't
have been cool.
It hasn't done very well. They need 250 million to break even.
Instead of salvaging prestige, Disney doubled down with a limited re-release last weekend, only to watch the numbers sink even lower, the cinematic equivalent of pressing replay on a broken track. Headlines sneered, Snow White flops again, and the public turned its gaze to the actress at the epicenter. That disaster wasn't a standalone stumble. It was the first domino that sent Zegler's entire career wobbling. Yet one flop alone rarely nukes a rising star. What detonated the goodwill was the interview clip that refused to die. During a 2022 junket, resurfaced and memeified in early 2025, Zegler laughed that Prince Charming was basically a stalker and promised her version of Snow White wouldn't be dreaming about true love. Fans recoiled, historians scoffed, and traditionalists fumed. In March, she tried to soften the language on CBS Mornings, emphasizing self-discovery and unexpected love. The effort landed like a half-hearted apology, not offensive enough to cancel, not sincere enough to forgive. TikTok stitched her soundbite over montages of the 1937 classic, racking millions of views in days. Like quick dry cement, that label, condescending, preachy, hardened around her public image. And social media has a twisted sense of humor, rewarding chaos even when numbers tell the opposite story. Scroll the Met Gala comment threads and you'll find a wild duality. Glossy clips of Zegler smiling in silver couture garnished with adoring queen emojis, right beside users roasting co-star Gal Gadot for her own controversies. How can the same internet love one moment and heckle the next? Welcome to 2025, where algorithms feed tribes. Yet while influencers insisted a silent majority still supported Zegler, the hard data at the Palladium yelled otherwise. Reddit sleuths posted seat map screenshots, comparing them to marketing claims of multi-million-pound pre-sales and asking the blunt question, if they sold that much, why is row E still a sea of green? The optics game exposed a bigger industry habit, forcing stardom in the age of instant audience veto. If the studios could program charisma, we'd all have Sam Worthington posters on our walls. They tried. Avatar, Terminator, Salvation, yet the crowd never clicked. Jai Courtney saw the same machine. Billion-dollar budgets, zero cultural imprint. Zegler's trajectory feels eerily similar. At 20, she won a Golden Globe off West Side Story, and insiders whispered, future Disney icon, but awards don't equal affection. The audience saw a fresh face preached as the definitive Snow White before she'd even proven box office draw. That disconnect seeded suspicion. Analysts now brand her Hollywood's newest cautionary tale, proof that you can't skip the step where viewers voluntarily fall in love. When one pillar crumbles, the roof creaks. And in this case, the whole Disney remake strategy began to wobble. Barely a week after Snow White's dismal run, insiders leaked that Disney had paused its live-action Tangled, the Rapunzel musical slated for 2026, citing investor jitters and franchise fatigue. Imagine the boardroom math. If a marquee princess with 80-plus years of brand recognition can't break even, what chance does a 2010 CG flick have? By one miscast and a few mismarketed talking points, Zegler inadvertently froze a 9-figure production pipeline. But numbers aren't the only shock. Whispers from inside the shoot reveal a stormy set. Industry gossip, echoed in the Times and trade DMs, says Gal Gadot privately vented about teamwork issues on Snow White, hinting at frayed professionalism and creative clashes that drained morale. Over in London, director Jamie Lloyd, known for avant-garde minimalism, allegedly butted heads with producers demanding a more cinematic staging to leverage Zegler's social reach. Some crew members joke the biggest drama isn't on stage, but at the production meetings. No official statement confirms the tension. Yet the atmosphere feels combustible enough to light up backstage TikToks at any moment. Still, theater has a way of stripping every mask. When curtains rise, spreadsheets mean nothing. Only butts in seats matter. Let's run the tally. The Palladium seats 2,286. Even a conservative 22-show week at 70% vacancy means roughly 35,000 empty chairs across 7 days. At an average ticket of £50, that's a £1.75 million hole every single week. And that doesn't count premium pricing or weekend surcharges. Live theater doesn't grant do-overs. When an audience stays home, the silence is louder than any YouTube comment section. Which brings us back to that lonely ghost light, flickering like a lie detector for manufactured fame. Hollywood can gloss a trailer, juice an algorithm, or even spin early pre-sales, but it can't fake the sound of 3,000 hands clapping. At the moment, Rachel Zegler is discovering the oldest rule in show business. The audience decides who gets the spotlight. Maybe she bounces back. Talent, by all accounts, she has in spades. Maybe the next standing ovation is just one gracious interview away. Or maybe studios quietly slide the budget toward another face, learning an expensive lesson about humility and timing. So we'll pose the question to you, because in the end, your click is the currency that counts. There, hit subscribe. The next chapter in this saga promises twists even Disney couldn't storyboard.